Shalom Akim, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rahak Kodash, the honest apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth, risking your life to do so. All right, this is Mark 4 and 13. And he said unto them, know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? The sower soweth the word, and these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. But when they heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And I kind of jumped into the middle of the parable. All right, this is the parable about the sower of the seed, which that's us, We just continue to sow seed. And then it gives the three things that happen. You have the seed that passes on the stony ground, the seed that fall amongst the thorns, and then the seed that's sown upon good ground. And we want to make sure that we're well cultivated in our spirit with this word so that this seed can be received on good ground and it can grow. And I kind of jumped to the understanding of the parable down here. It breaks it down, verse 15. And these are they by the wayside where the word is sown, and when they have heard, Satan cometh away and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word immediately received it with gladness. Right? They initially found out they're Israelite. You have millions of people who know that they're Israelites. All right, the Lord has used the word to mark them. All right, but let's see what happens. It says, and have no root in themselves, and so endure for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they're offended. And that's what's going to happen with a lot of Israelites who are not fully grounded, right? Who don't fully understand. They're just going to immediately become offended. Okay? And we don't want to be that person. Yeah, these are times of persecution where shit is going to happen. Things are going to be said. Esau got a million cameras. They might try to, get into your personal life, your personal business. But none of that's going to matter because the word of the Lord is ultimately going out and it will not go out void. All right, it says, and ultimately the Lord has his saints too. It said, do no evil, so shall no harm come to you. And even if it does, it's for a reason. All right, it's for you to be an example, for you to be a martyr. All right, even though it does say those who basically get to live are better off. All right, so we want to see the fall of our enemies and see the kingdom and never taste death. That's the prayer, and constantly have to, be sincere in that. And it says, matter of fact, since we said sincere, Philippians 1:10, that you may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense to the day of Hamashiach. That word for sincere, right, found pure when unfolded and examined by the sun's light, genuine, tested, unsullied. Right, genuine and without offense. It says, verse 18, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of other things entering in choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. And I know a lot of people who have a business and, they operate, they got this job, that job, because Jake, when we run a business, we run a business. It ain't no hands free, rarely. You have to work, right? But at the same time, you can't be deceived by, like I said, deceitfulness of riches. Right? The scriptures talk about that. Riches fly away. You're up one minute, you down the next. You know, if you run a business, you still have to prioritize the Lord, right? And that your personal business, it really has to be on the back burner. That's why it says, Sirach 38:24 says, the wisdom of a learned man comes by opportunity of leisure, and he that has little business shall become wise. You know, like me and my personal business, I do jobs, I do certain things, but then at a certain point, you know, and I'm still, you know, getting the balance on it. You have to dial back. You have to dial back on stuff. Like, look, I made my money for this week. I got my rent. I got everything paid. I got extra for this and that. I don't need to kill myself. You know, leisure time. Let me get into the scriptures. Let me study and see, you know, and get into this word so that I can be more profitable as a teacher. Right? It says, in the lust of other things entering in. And that's what this place is full of. It says talk about the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. Everything on social media is a lie. Everybody's faking. You know, everybody's just doing stuff for content and viral moments and monetization. Don't be fooled by it. They really don't have shit going on. And when the MOTB comes out, everybody's going to have to bend, and they're going to have to take it, or they're going to lose everything. Right? Most of these people, they really don't have any morals and principles that they're going to stand on in the day of calamity. That's why a lot of these women, shaky ass women, they're gonna fold. They're folding right now. They hitting the streets on the blade right now. Or they at the club right now trying to make a you know, that's what bitches do. They start off stripping, dancing, and then they just jump right into it. Or they have you know, meet a dude who's he fixes cars, he's a plumber. You know, they find a trick. Which really that's your husband when you do that, and then you jump rod to rod. Yeah, the Lord deals with integrity. But anyway, it says lust of other things entering in, choke the word, and it become unfruitful. Right, like you got a certain vineyard, you got them thorns and thistles and shit. You got to cut that shit because it'll choke the plant up. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it. Matter of fact, I got a precept for that thing too. Because ultimately the scriptures say you have to keep going back to square one, no matter how up you are, how well you're doing. You know, and that's the wisdom. When you're up, think about when you were down. Okay, I'm just might get this little extra thing, but then I'm gonna fall back. Then I have to splurge. Then when you're down, you have something. Right, 1 Timothy and 6 and 5, matter of fact, it says perverse disputings of men and this is talking about if any man teach otherwise, you know, the characteristics. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. I remember I was in college and I questioned something somebody said, and it was random nigga. I never talked to him before, never talked to him after that. He looked at me, he was like, I think I said something like, man, why would you want riches if you had to do that for it or something? And he said something to the effect of, would you rather be rich and miserable or poor and happy? And I said, I'd rather be poor and happy. He looked me in my eye. He said, you're in the wrong place. And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? I still didn't understand. I'm thinking that, you could still kind of, be rich and happy and all this shit. But that thing he actually said was actually wise now that I reflect on it. All right, pursuit of the people, man, run themselves through ragged for riches that they never get. Right? You have a lot of older Jakes too. Because what Esau's gonna do is they're gonna get your 401k, they're gonna get all these benefits and investments you made in Babylon. Right? They're already talking about Social Security in the age of retirement. So they're gonna get all these benefits and investments and use that. Hey, you want all this you saved up for? You're gonna have to take this. Want to do Transact, to buy or to sell? It's gonna be a wall. Right? That's why we have to know verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And that's just true. You can carry nothing out. See, Esau, he's the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh buries himself with ointments and gold, and even some of their favorite servants and animals, they got to get buried with them. They're taking everything with them. Right? When you leave here, you leave with nothing. Right? But then you have certain men who are never going to die anyway. Right? We leave out of Babylon, shit, and put it like that. You're going to leave with nothing. You're going to leave with shit. Even this husk is going to get stripped off, and then you're going to receive a celestial body. Right? Everything else, your car, your house, your dogs, they're going to have to be burned up. All right, it says, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. And see, that's the wisdom that you learn going through life. All right, food and raiment, be content. Everything else is extra and it's a blessing. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. There's that snare again, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts which drown men in destruction and perdition. And that's what's going to happen, man, because a lot of our people have gotten rich in Babylon. The ditties, and you can go down the list. Right, it says, but for us, but thou, O man of God. So if you're a man of God, this applies to you. Flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Fight the good fight for faith. Lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. All right, so we're called to this fight. This fight is full priority because this fight don't turn off. And you have people who they do fight camps. They'll do like they'll train for 10 months to a year for that one 12-round bout. Right? And that's like us. The preparation for this is all this time, and then it's going to be a couple of key moments of temptation that you're going to have to endure through. Right? Hey, in the scriptures, sometimes though, shit, like I said, you'll be some of you will go into prison. I think it says 10 days. But then when you look at like Elijah, the famine that hit was like over 3 years. So who knows how long that time of is going to be. Right, but we know it's going to happen fast. Everything is going to go, like the apostle said, everything, once the MOTB comes out, it's going to go fast. It says back in Mark 4, because there's another one that said the storehouses shall be found empty. All right, but back in Mark 4, and 20, it says, and these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. And he said unto them, Is it a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick? For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. We're in the time of everything being revealed, everything being uncovered. And so you have to watch that too. All right, the books are open. It's all eyes on Babylon. Don't let deceitfulness catch you up. Don't let Satan take you out. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You really don't want to put your mind to invest too much into this place, seeing it's going to be burned up. You really want to find that sweet spot of this takes care of everything I got to do, and then put all else in your studies, right, in your service of the Lord, because that's ultimately what's going to pay off. Shalom to the elect.